Can you rank the Eboys on who makes the best?
Ooh, that's a good question.
What was the first video you uploaded to YouTube?
Well, when I was like 11 years old, I'd make videos with like my friends in the park with just us like messing around. But my first video on the channel I run at the moment, it was just an edit of like a low budget film. It didn't really take off, but that was the first video on this channel.
So at that point in time, were you doing it because you wanted to be a YouTuber?
Honestly, it was just for fun, because I had a channel before and it had like a few thousand subs, and at that point I was like, oh, I could probably try and turn this into a job. And I got so sick of trying to do that, try and make it a career, I just made a channel for like just the fun of it. And ironically, that's the one that ended up being my job. There was a period where my channel was just slowly bubbling up and I'd be making probably about £30 a day. And I'd be looking at that and thinking, oh, that's nearly £1,000 a month. That's like what I get a part-time job at Tesco or something. But then when I made a video, it was my first proper like banger video. And I remember looking at the real-time graph and being like, what has happened? Has someone given me a shout out or something? And it was just this video that blew up. It was on Little T. It was on Little T and Sophie Aspin, if anyone remembers that.
Little T has been beefing with this girl called Sophie Aspin. But anyway, let's get into Little T, who you are. Sophie Aspin sends.
Sophie, yes, we know who you are. Sophie, yeah, you're really not hard. Sophie, yeah, you're gonna get hard.
Bloody hell, that's an intimidating location. I mean, is there anywhere more intimidating than your local kebab shop?
When I made that video, on my earnings, I had like a day where I made like £100. And then it kind of averaged out at about like 60 from there on. So I was like, oh wow, I could actually make this like a viable job now.
The amount you post is pretty relentless. Do you ever suffer from burnout?
I've wanted to be a YouTuber, like it's like an absolute dream job, and I don't want to see it slip away. So that's the kind of thing that keeps me going and keep uploading. I try and work through burnout because I just want to do this so much. But burnout for me is where I don't upload for like a week and a half. I basically try and upload at least once a week on my main channel and then at least like 2-3 times on my second. I feel as though that's pressure I've put on myself, but I don't know. I'd always like to try and upload more. I always try and find like new things to talk about. Like as of recent, I've been doing like reactions to like films and TV shows, and that's like kind of the newish thing I've been doing at the time of this recording.
Epic Movie is apparently supposed to be better than Disaster Movie, but not by much. It's still 13th on the IMDb bottom 100. So I haven't got high hopes, to say the least. My hopes are through the floor. In fact, my hopes are so far through the floor, they're at the molten core of the earth. So realistically, there's not really any way which this could disappoint me.
What do your parents make of what you do for a living?
I never really told them for like the first like few years I was doing it because I was just embarrassed. I didn't want them making fun of me. But it wasn't until I hit like 100k, my brother came in my room and he was like, "Hello, Memeulous." I was like, "What?" And it's because his friends on Xbox had found my channel and they were like, "Oh, this guy sounds like your brother." And then he went and told my parents, and my parents were like, "Oh, hello, Mr. Internet Celebrity." I was like, "Oh, yeah." And they were making fun of me. And then they're like, "Do you make money off this then?" I was like, "Yeah, I made about like £80 to £100 a day at the moment." And they were like, "Oh wow, okay, so you can do this as a job now?" I was like, "Yeah."
Obviously, one of your big visual features is the concealment of your identity. Where did that decision come from?
It wasn't necessarily really a decision in the beginning. It was just I didn't feel it necessary to show my face. But then it kind of just spiraled and became its own thing and its own brand, I guess. So something that's really put me off like ever showing my face was like sometimes when I go on nights out with like friends who have YouTube channels, you see like drunken people like go up and grab them and drag them and basically like treat them like property. It's really, really like off-putting.
To someone who's watching this video, who's never seen Memeulous before, which one video would be the gateway drug?
I'd say like the reactions to like TV shows and feel like one of them videos, because I think those are probably some of the best stuff I've ever made.
Love Island, something I have missed very dearly during the pandemic. It's back, and I watched the first episode, and the first episode only, and I was not impressed, to say the least. Have you seen it as well?
Wait, you watched that over the footy?
No, I watched both of them. I tweeted about Love Island. People were like, oh, what are you watching this over the footy?
Actually, no, technically, I've got them on both at the same time.
I did.
Like Iron Man.
What, because I have two monitors?
Exactly.
I have two monitors and I'm Tony Stark. Alright.
In some of your content, famously, you roast people on other channels. Have any of them ever got upset by it or come after you?
No. The funny thing is, like, a lot of them take it really well because they realise, like, I'm not out to, like, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, of course. I'm
I'm not out to on them, basically. Like, I'm not, like, out to take them down. It's more just, like, a laugh. It's for entertainment, you know what I mean? So it's like, I've met a lot of the people I've made videos on, and they've been, like, really, I guess, respectful is the way to say it. But I don't know. I've never had anyone, like, confront me in person, because that'd be a bit weird. Why would you confront someone over a YouTube video in real life?
Who are some of the other current YouTubers you admire?
I'll tell you who I admire at the moment. It's like, I don't know if you guys have seen, but the Minecraft lot. Like there's guys that are like 16 years old and they've got like nearly 10 million subscribers. It's just insane, like how well they're doing at that age and how well they're handling it. They're people I look up to quite a lot, just because of like how well they've done in such a short amount of time.
And looking at the flip of it, what do you think is some of the worst stuff on YouTube at the moment?
Oh God, it's like, have you seen them like investment channels? Not like there's some good ones, but then there's some that's like, oh, Dogecoin is gonna go to $5. It's not. They're like selling you a dream. Like there's just like, and the ones that try and sell you courses, like they are the they're not just on YouTube, they're on like TikTok and stuff as well. They are the absolute worst.
One of the current trends at the moment is essentially YouTubers fighting each other.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think it's good entertainment. Like seeing, especially like the JJ Logan stuff. That was probably one of the highlights of 2019, seeing him win. But it's seeing like all the TikTokers and stuff come through now and try and fight each other. And it's like with like JJ and Logan, you've been watching them for years and you've watched them come up through like YouTube and stuff slowly. And you've kind of built a connection to at least one of them if you watch YouTube. So you're kind of like back it, you got someone to back. But when it's TikTokers who have like become big in like the last 6 months to a year, you just don't care.
Do trolls bother you?
If that's your job and something you put a lot of work into, like it's going to get anyone down. But as of recent, I've kind of stopped checking my social media, just because I've realised like I'd be sat on it all day, like checking what everyone said. I could get 100 nice things sent to me, and then that one bad thing would make me, I'd be thinking about that all day. I still have the apps and everything, but I just don't really check what people are saying about me as much, which I think is a more healthy thing to do. I've definitely been like happier in that respect of things since doing it.
More recently, there's been a lot of rumours flying around about what happened to the Eboys. Can you give us the real reason?
The real reason is what has been put on YouTube. Like it was a case of, I think we were all not really feeling it as much. Like we all wanted to kind of do our own things more. And Will was kind of just like, look, I'm really not happy doing this. Like I don't want to do it anymore. And then me, Alex and James were just like, we don't want to do it without Will. So there's like no point. So we just like called it quits. And that's it. It was a fun year. I don't regret doing it. It was good fun. A lot of good memories.
Can you rank the Eboys on who makes the best?
You got to put Will at the top, because his stuff is just great. And then I'd put James and Alex tied, and then me at the bottom.
If you could go back to yourself when you were very first starting out, what would you say to yourself?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it'd more be like, like thumbnails and titles. You got to focus on like what people want to click on. Make the videos engaging throughout. Good equipment, because I remember for a while I was using like this really crap mic for like this was after I did like MLG edits. I had this really crap mic and it sounded really bad. So You get good equipment, just to make your videos look good. Yeah, you just got to keep at it if you want to get somewhere with YouTube. It's a game of like persistence. Like if you do it for like 6 months and give up, chances are you're not going to make it. But then if you do it for like 5-6 years, like persistently, chances are you're going to have like some form of success. Diversifying your income, it's like a safety net. It makes you feel secure. And also, I think investing in general, like even if you just have like a normal job, is like pretty beneficial.
Do you think that being a YouTuber is something young people should aspire to?
A lot of people see it as this thing that's really out of reach, but I feel as though if a lot of people, if they like dedicate time to it and years to it, like consistently, the more you work on it, the more likely it is to pay off. Like, I don't know if this is just me, but everyone I know that has put their mind to YouTube, I've known a lot of people, not a single one of them that put their mind to it for years isn't doing it full time at the moment, which is I find quite interesting. Maybe it's just me. You're not gonna. It's very, very rare that you're gonna make your first video and then you're gonna become a YouTube celebrity. It takes years to figure out like what does well, what holds retention, what is a good thumbnail, what is a good title. It takes years to learn these things. Like you kind of just got to look at why your best videos did best. I think it's more about just learning.
You can never really be true friends after something like that. I just don't think it can ever happen. Maybe if you fought and it was a draw, maybe you could still be friends, but the idea of being friends with someone that has beaten you, it's a hard thing for your head to compute.